Hi YouTubers, Andre from the DIY bench here. Now the purpose of today's video is to show you how I made this gear, the sprocket. Now this sprocket is made from aluminum, 3mm thick aluminum. Now my machine cannot cut metal, so I had to go the aluminum way, and this is what I had. So I had a battle finding the right material, and this 3mm thick aluminum bar is the only thing I could find to make this gear. Now I had a limitation. This bar is only 50mm wide, but it was just enough so I could make a 20-tooth sprocket out of it. So basically you cut a piece of aluminum and you can cut it 50 by 50. This is just how I had to do it because of my stock limitations. But you can see here I'm using pretty much the whole width, which is 50mm. And obviously there's a problem when you cut this gear, but I'll come to it just now. Okay, so I'm going to go through the stages how I made this gear. And basically, like I said, you start off with basically a 50 by 50mm square, and then you end up, after you've cut it, like this. And you'll see it's got an inside hole, and I've got 3 tabs holding the centerpiece to the outside gear, and I'll tell you why I did it this way now. And after you clean it up, you get a nice gear. Now the hole is determined by what parts you have, or what type of gear and what bearing you have. In my case, I had these bearings. I figured they would be big enough for this type of application. And once you press it in, you can even take a hammer and just knock it in there. But I prefer to press it. It goes in nicely and you don't bend anything. But it came out nicely. I've got one running in one of my machines now, and time will tell if aluminum will hold or wear down fast. But I think it's gonna work pretty nice. Okay, so this gear, I could have bought it, but I decided to make it since I've got the CNC machine. And this gear will work together with this one. This one I bought from Micro Robotics. And I think this is hardened steel. But this is going to go basically on the stepper motor. And the pulley I made, the sprocket I made, is going to go on the other side of the machine. So the chain is just going to run around it and come back to the main driver sprocket. Alright, so this is the chain that matches these gears. And I just want to go to the package here to show you. This is a 04C 20-tooth. And the sprocket I made is also a 20-tooth, so it matches up nicely 1-to-1. Now I tried to draw the sprocket outline in my CAM program, which is Cambam. But it's very difficult. So after online search, I found this little nifty program, which is called Sprocketeer. And this type of gear is a ANSI 25. Now I'm not a gear expert, but this 04C is the same. So you really need to pitch the roller diameter and the number of teeth that you need. And I know the pitch for this sprocket is a 6.35 and it's got a roller diameter of 3.30. And after you set these parameters, you just click go and it gives you the actual G code, which is very nifty. You can export the DXF file, or I mean, once you have the code, you can just put it into your machine, your CNC machine, and it will cut it. This is not what I did. I just put it inside my CAM program, which is Cambam, and you just set all your parameters there. And yeah, like I mean, you can see it came out very nicely. Like I must just add that the inside hole, whatever you put in, the hole is just for reference. Whatever, if you want to put something else there or a big hole, you're going to have to pull it into your CAM program and give it another hole parameter there. But once you have this, I mean, the gear cuts, it's fairly fast through 3mm aluminum. I just want to go back here and go back to this part here. Now, as you can see, this is basically the width of the stock, which was, like I said, 50mm. Now, I'm just going to put this back in here so you can see. If you put your tabs, sorry about the shadow, if you put your tabs on the gear itself, it's very hard to clean because the teeth are very small. So it is just easier to try, and it all depends on the stock you can get. If you can get a stock that's at least 60 wide, it will change things. You can just grab it at the edges with a washer on your machine to hold it down. But as you can see, after it cuts out the gear, and like I said, I don't want to put the tabs there because it's very hard to clean out afterwards. So I just opted to drill a hole in the center and just use one bolt to hold it down onto the table. And that will leave you, after the cutout, it will leave you 3 little tabs that breaks off very easily. And you'll end up with a gear like this and some cleanup. And I mean, the bearing presses in nicely and firmly. It's not loose, but that all depends on how good your machine is set up to do round holes. Now, like I said, this is a matching chain. Now in my case here, it's tight on the chain, but I think that just all comes down to making all the teeth. I mean, you can still see they're still square. You need to sharpen them a little bit. If you go and have a look on your actual gear here, it's got like a sharp. It moves to a point, and but once it works its way in there. Yeah, it works nicely. Like I said, I've got one like this running at the moment in one of my machines, and so far it's holding up. This is the first video. I'm going to put up another video as a part 2, just to show how my machine cut the gear. Just a final note, I used a 2mm end mill. As I had a roll diameter of 3.30, 2mm end mill works very nicely. One last thing I need to add is you really need to put some lubricant on your machine while it's cutting. I messed up one of my end mills because it was getting so hot, but I ran out of spray to spray on there, and it really was so quickly, and it messed up the whole gear. So make sure while your machine is running that it's looped up, or you spray it well while it's working, because that end mill, although it's aluminum, that end mill gets hot really quickly, and you can mess up the end mill very fast. Thank you. Cheers.